Victorian Cape May. The jewel of the Jersey Shore is a seaside town of gingerbread houses, comfortable front porches, and colorful gardens. Situated at the southernmost tip of New Jersey, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Delaware Bay, Cape May today is one of the busiest and most popular resorts on the eastern seaboard. Once the watering place of the rich and famous of the 19th century, this small town with its clean beaches and warm surf is now a summer resort that's become a year-round attraction for visitors from all over the world. There's a large protected harbor, easy ocean access, and a gentle climate. Complete marine supplies and services are available in a number of convenient marinas. The city has everything you expect from a seashore community, and a great deal more as well. There's an attractive pedestrian mall, shady tree-lined streets, decorative Victorian structures, good restaurants, fine shops, new motels, old hotels, and charming guest inns. A visit here provides an enchanting break from the everyday hurly-burly of the 20th century. Because of its extensive collection of 19th century buildings and its massive efforts at preservation, the entire city has been designated a National Historic Landmark. Combine this rich heritage with the best and most comfortable accommodations available, and you have Victorian Cape May, a thriving, exciting community that blends yesterday and today to become a unique and delightful town out of time. Cape May calls itself the nation's oldest seashore resort. Well, it does this because the Indians used to vacation here before the European settler. The Lenni Lenape tribe and others from mid-Jersey would come down here in the summertime to hunt and to fish. The town started as a fishing village. It was named after a Dutch sea captain, Cornelius May, M-E-Y. It was named for him, although today the spelling has been anglicized to M-A-Y. In the early days, when the farmers and the fishermen would take their catch or their crop up the Delaware River to sell in Philadelphia, they found that the people in the big city wanted to come to the beach for a few days and they could rent their extra bedrooms. As soon as they found that out, they started building more extra bedrooms. Cape May actually became a resort before the United States became a nation. As early as 1760, there were advertisements in the Philadelphia papers asking people to resort to Cape May. And in one way and another, people have been resorting to this place ever since. Fascination has always been the ocean. Since the beginning of time, man has been fascinated by the water, the sea, the constant, ever-changing ocean. Starting with arrivals in the early days by small sailing ships, Cape May began to flourish as a fashionable resort. By the 1850s, steamboat service had been instituted from both Philadelphia and Delaware. Water was the easiest way to travel long distances, so fashionable people chose to come by ship. Since there was service from Delaware, Southerners would flock to this most accessible, cool, northern resort. This strong Southern influence accounts for the many wooden buildings still standing today, like the 1876 Chalfont Hotel. As soon as the movers and shakers from Washington, D.C. began to water here, naturally the rich, the social, and the eager followed. By 1853, the largest hotel in the world was opened. The Mount Vernon was planned to accommodate over 3,000 guests and have hot and cold running water in each room. It was built of wood. It was lighted by gas. In 1856, it burned without a trace. It was not the first fire, and sadly wouldn't be the last. In November 1878, fire destroyed the entire center of town. Because of its great popularity, the town was quickly rebuilt. Crowds continued to flock here to see and be seen. With the advent of train service, an elaborate station was built at Grant Street, and the town continued to thrive. Some pretty impressive names appear among the famous or infamous visitors here. Abraham Lincoln and his wife were largely ignored when he came before he was president. Harriet Tubman raised money here to support the Underground Railroad. The Southerners might bring their slaves with them in the spring, but they often went home without them in the fall. After Presidents Pierce, Buchanan, and Grant vacationed here, the town came to be known as the President's Playground. President Chester A. Arthur may only have come for lunch, but he was here. President Benjamin Harrison used this building, Congress Hall, as his summer White House. Horace Greeley told young men to go west, but he went to Cape May. Wallace Warfield vacationed here. Later, the King of England gave up his throne to marry her, and she became the Duchess of Windsor. But times and taste began to change, and Cape May began to fall from favor. Other newer, bigger, jazzier places were nearer to the cities and more fun. For most of the 20th century, the town just slept quietly at the end of the peninsula, still loved by a few faithful families, but mainly an ignored, unpopular relic from the past. Then came March 1962. A 3-day storm wrecked the Jersey Shore. The city lost its beach, its boardwalk, and its convention hall. The federal government supplied an urban renewal grant to help rebuild. Washington Street, which had come to be a sleepy main street, was torn up and transformed into a bustling pedestrian mall. It was the first urban renewal grant ever given for preservation. After the Garden State Parkway opened from the north, ferry service was started from Lewis, Delaware. Once more, you could come to Cape May by water. A small park was created next to the mall, and the Rotary Club donated a bandstand for it. An old custom of outdoor band concerts could start anew. Then came a remarkable, accidental combination, the need to save the Emlyn Physic Estate and the efforts of a citizens group, the Mid-Atlantic Center for the Arts. The estate was an overgrown eyesore of 8.5 acres with an abandoned 16-room house on it. The carriage house on the estate was already the home of the Cape May County Art League. That's the oldest county art league in the country. It holds regular exhibits in its gallery and conducts a variety of art classes for both adults and young people. To save the estate and this important house, the Mid-Atlantic Center began raising funds. They organized activities that ranged from community Halloween parties to flea markets to walking tours. The house was saved and is now the city's Victorian museum. The success of this group's efforts provided the spark that ignited a citywide campaign of repainting, reshingling, and restoring. New uses were found for old buildings. Some became restaurants, Some became shops, and still others, guest inns. Over 600 Victorian structures still stand. They provide stunning examples of nearly every known style of Victorian house. It's a collection of international importance. There's the Gothic Revival, with sharp Gothic gables, steep roofs, strong dormer windows, and multi-levels of decorations. Towers are either square or octagonal, and they are carefully off-center. The style came to be known as Carpenter Gothic. The Romanesque has a strong vertical silhouette with massive towers. Renaissance Revival is nothing but a relatively unornamented building, always balanced and symmetrical. The American bracketed was immensely popular. Also called Italianate, it's a square box of a house with deep overhanging roofs supported by massive brackets. These buildings may be in New Jersey, but they would feel right at home on the Gulf Coast. Cupolas or belvederes proudly decorated the tops of many of these buildings. Exotic Revival style paid homage to Moorish and other Middle Eastern shapes. Octagon houses were just about as exotic in shape as you could get. The Second Empire French villa sported a prominent mansard roof that could be concave, convex, or even straight. It's a tall, bold shape. Never one to hesitate to mix styles, Cape May nailed a wraparound porch onto some of these villas. The Physic House is stick style, with its steep pitched roof and massive chimneys. The stick-like boards on the outside are painted in contrasting colors to echo the structural supports inside. The little stick-style gingerbread church started life at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition. With the Queen Anne style, you name it and you'll most likely find it. The houses are a dazzling mix of multi-gabled roofs, sharp Gothic eaves, intricate facades, towers, turrets, porches, and bays. And all of these elements are carefully out of balance. Shingle-style buildings are massive, plain, and covered in unpainted wooden shingles. The bungalow is a small house that originated in British India, but gained wide popularity here in the early 1900s. But the fun of Cape May is not only in the total building, or even in the rows of the buildings. It's also in the pieces of the buildings. It's in the whimsy of the design, the fantasy of the combinations, and the infinite variety of the details. It's applique, barge boards, shingles, brackets, spandrels, balustrades, pendants, and acroteria. The philosophy was simple: decorate everything. Decorate the decoration. And remember, too much is not enough. This amazing heritage, rediscovered almost by accident, is claiming ever wider attention. The city itself has become an attraction. And it's proven that preservation is good business. People come throughout the year, not just in the summertime. Anytime's a nice time to visit Cape May. In October, Victorian Week is a 10-day festival of special events, Victorian fashion shows, stained glass, and old house tours. Christmas in Cape May is a wonderland of lights and ornaments. Decorated homes are open to the public, and carolers stroll the streets. Midwinter brings the Shakespeare Festival, craft and antique shows, windswept beaches, brisk walks, and quiet evenings by the fire. Over 70,000 bulbs announce spring when they bloom for the Tulip Festival. The colored sails of the Hobie Cat Regatta turn the beachfront into a rainbow. It's summer again. All these activities reflect the city's dedication to enjoying the present while preserving the past. The town's efforts at preservation have been so successful that in April of 1976, the federal government declared the entire city a National Historic Landmark. That's the highest honor that the federal government can give a place. Bunker Hill, the Alamo, Mount Vernon, Cape May's in very good company. And the town is not just a resort. It's home for many year-round residents. Fishing is the second largest industry. The area's scallops, flounder, sea bass, and clams are major items on the surrounding metropolitan menus. The convenient harbor provides ideal deepwater docking facilities for the growing commercial fishing fleet. Many happy hours can be spent fishing for fun. Party boats daily take the anxious angler to the deep water. The protected waters of the harbor are also ideal for pleasure boating. They're the perfect background for a lazy day of sailing or fishing from early April to mid-November. Along the beachfront on the stone groins, you can enjoy the sun, cast a line, and maybe even land a big one. The countryside around the town still contains many working farms. New Jersey is rightly called the Garden State. The truck farmers provide much of the produce consumed in the nearby cities. When visitors go home, they're almost sure to take some fresh fruits and vegetables with them. A great deal of the land surrounding the city is now protected as a state natural area. There are over 3 miles of trails, boardwalks, and raised platforms that provide overlooks near the larger ponds. The combination of the state park and the adjacent community of Cape May Point provides hundreds of acres of wildlife sanctuary. The area has long been an important stopping point for migrating birds. There's a major Audubon weekend in both spring and fall. Canada geese, 13 varieties of hawk, heron, and numerous other species all stop here for a rest. Sunset Beach on the Delaware Bay is the place to see the remains of the concrete ship from World War I, or to search along the water's edge for a small, clear quartz stone known as a Cape May diamond. Inside the city limits is a major U.S. Coast Guard search and rescue center. It's also the location of the only Coast Guard basic training facility in the country. The sight of a training company running in cadence through the streets is always a treat. Theater by the Sea, located on the Physic Estate, offers top-notch professionals on the outdoor stage to growing audiences each year. Under special arrangements with New Jersey and the Coast Guard, the 1859 Cape May Lighthouse is now being restored by the Mid-Atlantic Center and opened to the public. Other groups and individuals have joined these efforts. They are all providing visitors with more things to do and more sights to see. The Historical Society operates this little colonial house as a museum. And this is a new old building. It's Fireman's Hall, The Volunteer Fire Company's museum displays a shiny, red 1928 La France fire truck. Tours of many different kinds are available year-round. Walking tours through the streets with an enthusiastic, knowledgeable guide, sailing past the beachfront, horse and carriage rides with a friendly driver, open-air guided trolley tours in nice weather, and heated trolley tours in the winter. Each spring and each fall, the mall plays host to antique automobile rallies. A carefully restored 1928 Model A Ford can provide a ride into the past. Bike rentals abound, and it's a fun way to spend an hour just looking, and there's always something to see. Stores ranging from one-of-a-kind handcrafts to fine antiques to traditional seashore souvenirs are all over town. A big attraction for many people is a collection of fine restaurants. Good food in fun places has become a specialty for every purse and palate. Exotic gourmet or traditional seashore, indoors or outdoors, on porches and patios, casual or formal, funnel cakes, falafel, hot dogs, or haute cuisine. The Cape May restaurants are an eater's paradise. A number of the most intriguing houses have been lovingly restored as guest inns. Today's traveler can enjoy charming rooms, quiet porches, and the company of other guests. For the person who prefers telephones, television, and swimming pools, many modern motels are available. Add to this the increasingly popular grace of the old hotels with their ever-present porch rockers, and you see that Cape May can satisfy every vacationer's taste. From modern condominium apartments to Victorian rentals, it's all there for the choosing. So there it is, old and new, busy and idle, today and yesterday. Cape May, a town to enjoy, anytime.